Welcome to another episode of Creepy Stories. Today's episode is entitled The Creep on the Bus by lyraalluse. One time when I was getting ready to head home on the Metro Light Trail from my last day at Phoenix Comic-Con, I met up with a strange guy wearing a long black trench coat and sunglasses. He had some facial hair, sported some hardcore dreads, and gave off a kind of generally creepy vibe. He was waiting at the metro stop I needed to wait at to catch the last train back into Mesa, so there was no real way I could avoid him. I tried to stand far away and avoid eye contact, but the guy walked over and started to try to make small talk. I'm thinking that the last thing I want to do is to aggravate this guy. I don't know what he is capable of, and I have no idea what his intentions are, so I decided to just smile and nod. I was pretty much fading in and out of listening to him drawl on about creepy topics such as some wife he left back in Africa, so he could find more wives to take back with him in the States, and how he wanted a girl for a one-night stand. I listened, nodded, but made it clear that I wasn't going to be his one-night stand. I did this all tactfully, mind you, because he was a creeper and there was really no one around to help me. It was eerily quiet for being in the middle of downtown Phoenix. As the guy moved on to weirder subjects, I was scanning the area subtly for places I could run in case the guy decided to snap and do something drastic. I happened to luck out, since the same time the last train arrived at the station. I told the guy I had to find my seat and boarded as quickly as I could. Unfortunately, the guy boarded the train too, and followed me to a section that had a lot of people in it. I sat down in a seat, and I felt my stomach tighten when the man sat right beside me. He kept trying to talk to me about wanting a one-night stand, and how he'd love to have a female friend to take around to see the city. I told him that I wasn't interested and tried to ignore him the best I could. He moved on to asking other girls in the same train cabin if they wanted to hang out, to which they clearly flat out ignored him or told him to buzz off. Realizing he couldn't get anywhere with them, he returned his attention back to me. Now this is where things get really weird and even took somewhat of a supernatural turn. All of a sudden, my eyes started to water. I got this really bad headache to the point where I could barely sit up in my seat. My head became so heavy that I placed my head in my hands, tears were streaming out of my eyes, and my body was aching all over. Even the creeper was weirded out, and had no idea what was going on. The people in the cabin were concerned for my condition, so they reached out and started giving me water, medication, or anything to help me alleviate my sudden pain. One person suggested that I call someone I know and let them know what was going on. So I called my mom and told her about my sudden condition. I told her I needed to be picked up at the metro station and taken home. I didn't mention my encounter with the creepy guy since he was sitting right next to me and I didn't want to aggravate him. My mom said she would pick me up when I got off. After I hung up, I put my head back in my hands. My eyes were still tearing, and my head was pounding. At this point, the guy was freaking out and telling people I was faking it and I was just fine earlier when I was talking to him. The people kept giving him dirty looks, and he was eventually pressured to leave the train. Or at least it seemed. However, when most of the people had gotten off the train, the guy reboarded a few stops down. It was now only me and the guy on the metro. I was alone. There was no one to help me. I honestly thought I was going to die. The guy kept fingering something in his pocket, which I got the feeling was a gun, knife, or other weapon. The only thing I could think of was to pray. I was sick. I had a headache. I couldn't move. My eyes were tearing up. I was a perfect prey for this creeper. He sat right next to me again and kept on being a creep. I just continued to pray in my head, call the angels around me, and ask God to help me get out of this situation. Now this next part is the weirdest detail of the whole story. It should have been 3 to 4 stops to the downtown Mesa light rail station. But almost immediately, after I started to pray, we already reached the last station. There was no rational way I could explain this. All I know is that when I noticed it was the last stop, I gathered my things and got off the train as briskly as I could. The guy followed me, confused at how we had gotten to the last stop as fast as we did. I called my mom again and told her I was going to meet her in the parking lot. The weirdo at this point seemed confused and like he didn't want to get involved since there was a huge crowd of people at the stop, so he shook my hand, said it was good to meet me, mumbled some other stuff, and wandered off in kind of a daze. I think he was generally shocked that we got to the light rail station as fast as we did. He boarded the light rail again, and I never saw him again after that. Immediately after the man boarded the train, my sudden illness disappeared. It was like he brought the illness, and when he left, it returned with him. When my mom came to pick me up at the light rail station, I told her all about my adventure with the crazy dude. She was just grateful that nothing had happened to me and took me home. To this day, I really believe that something supernatural intervened and protected me from that man. There's no telling what he would have done if the train hadn't arrived as quickly as it did. And if my sudden illness hadn't brought attention to my situation that alerted the other passengers to the strange man's behavior. The what-ifs of the situation aren't something I like to think about, but I am just thankful that I made it out of that station alive. In a few months, I plan on making a countdown of the creepy videos in each category. In order to do so, I need your help. If you like any of the stories, hit the like button to let me know. It will help me when I need to collect the data. If you like the videos and want to know when more are coming, simply subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every day. I know you can pick any YouTuber to watch, so I just want to thank you for picking one of my videos. Hope it didn't scare you to death.